Hello students, today we'll discuss a very important topic of acid and base, which is very important for your all classes. For example, from 8 to 10, even further it is very important. So here we'll discuss only some basics of acid and base, what are the indicators, how they work, etc. So let's start with the acid and base. Acids and bases. As we know, we should always start from physical property and should proceed to the chemical property. So let's see what is the physical nature of the acid and base. Acids usually they are sour in taste. Okay. Bases usually it is bitter in taste. Bitter in taste. If your acid is alkali, then it is soapy in feeling. For example, when you use your soaps or detergent, what happened? The same, because its soapy feeling is just because of this basic nature. So it is soapy in alkali. We'll discuss in further. We'll discuss later in this class. Then let's slowly and gradually proceed to the chemical property. Before that, there is a litmus paper concept. Okay, it turns the red litmus paper, blue litmus paper into red litmus paper. Okay, and this turns the red litmus paper into blue. Okay, we can use it base BRB or ABR. Acid will turn blue litmus paper into red, or BRB, base will turn red litmus paper into blue. About litmus paper, we'll explore more in the same class but later. Now let's see one by one the chemical properties. What happens when the acid react with the metallic oxides? Let's start with the metals. Suppose it is your HCl, then it reacts with Na, it forms the NaCl plus hydrogen remains. Okay, balancing we will see later, or even I have discussed this in my previous YouTube class. So what happens is, please pay attention here, there is a salt. So salt form, always remember when the metal reacts with acid, it also depends upon its activity, but if it reacts with the acid, it always forms its corresponding salt and release hydrogen gas. A very important thing is there that the hydrogen comes from acid, but this is done with the help of metal. Means metal help to displace the hydrogen from acid. As a result, hydrogen gas released. In case of bases, usually the reaction with metal and base is not common, but if it happens, it also forms the salt of corresponding metal. Suppose again I will take that Na plus NaOH, it is your base. It will form sodium zincate. It is your sodium sodium zincate, which is your salt. But usually the reaction is not very common with base and metal. Then the next is what happened when the metal carbonate or bicarbonate react with the acid or base. With the base there is no reaction, but when metal carbonate or NCO3 or metal bicarbonate, whenever there is a term bi use, means it is having hydrogen group. So we can represent it like this. HCO3 is your bicarbonate. I am putting it in bracket because we don't know what is the valency of this metal. So on the basis of the valency, we will put the numbers here. When the metallic carbonate or metal bicarbonate react with acid, it will form the salt of corresponding metal plus carbon dioxide gas will release plus water will release. Okay. This reaction is only possible with the acids. Then the next is our reaction of acid and base together. We know it very well. When the acid reacts with base, it forms salt plus water. This reaction is known as neutralization reaction. Neutralization reaction. Because depending upon the acid, if it is both are strong, then it will form the salt, neutral salt. If acid is strong and base is weak, then it will form the acidic salt. If base is strong and acid is weak, then it will form the basic salt. It depends upon the strength of acid or base. Then the reaction with metallic oxide and acid. Metallic oxide, when react with acid, it forms again salt plus water. Here, non-metallic oxide plus base. If they react with each other, then it forms salt plus water. Is there any similarity between these two reactions? If we observe it carefully, we find that if it is acid, it is acid. But here the metallic oxide is analogous to base. It proves that all the metallic oxides are basic in nature. Okay. In same way, here it is also neutralization reaction. Acid plus base, salt plus water. This plus base, salt plus water. It means that it is similar to your acid. So all the non-metallic oxide are acidic in nature. Here, as I said that all the metallic oxide are basic in nature, we will find some of the exceptions, that some of the like aluminium oxide and zinc oxide are amphoteric in nature. But we'll see in our metal non-metal classes, which I have taken earlier. You can go through this if you want to explore this more. So, but the basic concept is that why we say that metallic oxides are basic in nature, because it is similar to the neutralization reaction in which the metallic oxide are analogous to the base and it form the salt and water when react with the acid. In same way, the non-metallic oxide are similar to the acid because when it react with the base, it form the salt and water. Now let's see what happens when they react with water. When the acids react with water, it forms hydronium ion plus your NaCl, means it help to release this hydrogen ion. What happened actually, for example, if you take the HCl, there will be one more, whatever the ion we are taking, there will be a negative ion. Suppose it is HCl plus H2O. It will dissociate into H plus and Cl minus, and this H plus will combine with the H2O and form the H3O plus, and there will be the Cl minus. Okay. In same way, if your base is soluble in water, then what does it do? It dissociates into its component and form the OH minus ion in the solution. Suppose it is in NaOH, then it forms the Na plus and OH minus ion. One more thing here, we can explore this alkali topic. All the bases are alkali, but all alkalis are not base, because alkalis are those special bases which can dissolve in water. So all the water soluble bases are alkali. Okay, but all bases are not water soluble, so we can't say that the all bases are alkali, but it is true that the all alkalis are bases. What is one thing is common in acid and base, that they both conduct electricity. We can do this experiment, but here we'll see that why is it possible, as if it is water soluble, means if we are taking the alkali, then it will release, if it is your base, it will dissociate into its ions and release OH minus and one more positive ion. Okay, whatever, if we are taking the NaOH, then it will be the Na plus and OH minus. Exactly in same way, we were taking that if it is HCl, then H plus and Cl minus. As they dissociate into the positive and negative ions, so it will help the water to conduct electricity. So both of these conduct electricity. But a very important thing is here that alkali conduct electricity very frequently in comparison to this, the bases which are insoluble in water. They poorly conduct electricity. Okay, because they will not easily dissociate into its ion and it will not help to conduct electricity. Now let's see a very important precaution what we should take at the time of acid base use, that when the acid or base react with water, it is very exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction means it releases large amount of heat. Okay, and if this heat is localized, means it is not distributed to whole container, then it will come out in form of a splash. So too, there is a very important precaution at the time of dilution. We'll see later, just after this topic. If it is your container with water, okay, and if it is your container with strong acid, and you want to dilute it, you should add acid in water slowly. Okay, it is preferable. But if you do like this, water and acid, it is dangerous, because when the water will go to acid directly, there will be this reaction and the large amount of heat will release, and this heat could not delocalize. It is a local heat. Okay, so heat released locally means it doesn't delocalize, and this in the local area there is a large amount of heat, increased temperature, it may break your glass also, whatever container, glass container, and as the heat is not localized, so it will try to come out and in form of a splash. So the splash will come which may burn you. So there is a very important precaution that always dilute the acid or base in water, never the water in acid. It should be the acid in water. So it is very important topic. Then let's see what is a dilution. There is an important phenomenon of dilution. Dilution means the decreasing the concentration of something. In case of acid, when we add water in acid, what happens? The hydrogen ion reduces. And if we use base and we are adding water here, then there will be the hydroxide and reduced. Okay. So dilution is what? By adding water in acid or base to reduce the hydrogen or hydroxide ion per unit volume of acid or base is known as your dilution. Okay. As the hydrogen ion or hydroxide ion tells about the how strong or weak your acid or base is. If there is a large amount of hydrogen ion, means it is highly acidic or strong acid, and if it is large amount of hydroxide ion or less amount of hydrogen ion, means it is a strong base. So now let's see about the let's explore about the indicators. Indicators are those substances which help us to find whether it is acid or base, and further it also help us to find how strong the acid or base is. So indicators. Indicators are basically two types. One, it is your natural indicator, and the second, it is your synthetic. One more category is also what we see. Then what is a natural indicator? The resource or the source from where we find this indicator is natural. Indicator help us to find whether if it is acid or base, and further the strength also, okay, of acid or base. So for example, turmeric, very obviously, or it is very common phenomena which you have seen when you use your cloth, or which has coincidentally it was stained by some vegetables, spicy vegetables, or something having the turmeric in large quantity, what happens when we use soap there to clean it? It turns red in color. Even if you want, just put some detergent on a turmeric powder, it will turn red. It shows that it helps to find whether it is acid or base. If it turns red, means that substance which you are using is base. Turmeric turns red from yellow, it be in presence of base. Okay, so now you can find that your Vim or the detergent powder are basic in nature. So just because of this, they are soapy in touch. Then the China rose and some petals of all China rose petal, petunia. This also help us to find the if the China rose color it is red and it turns the magenta blue or magenta color. And in same way your litmus, which I have said I will explore this topic also. Some litmus paper, we obtain it from lichen. It is lichen is actually the symbiotic association of fungi and algae. This turns, as we have discussed, when we take there are two, we use the blue litmus paper and red litmus paper. Okay, this blue litmus paper can turn into red. Then it is your acid. And if the red litmus paper, red turns into blue, then it is a base. So you can see these are the naturally these are the natural indicators which help us to find whether it is acid or base. Then come to some synthetic indicators. For example, the methyl orange. Then phenolphthalein. Phenolphthalein, it is colorless in acid, and it is colorless in acidic medium, and it is pink in color in basic medium. So we can find whether it is acid or base by using this. In same way, the methyl orange, it is red in color in acidic medium and yellow, it turns yellow in basic medium. Okay. So these are natural and synthetic. In this, one more category is there, or one more type, special type is olfactory receptor. Olfactory means by smelling. So by smelling we can find, for example, the onion, vanilla, clove. They help to find the acidic nature. Just if it is present, it means they are acidic. So by the smell we can just find out. So these are the olfactory indicators. Examples of vanilla essence usually we use. Then onion, acidic. Then your clove, it is also. So it is about the indicators. Now how we use these indicators in the lab. There we use some of the indicators and find or make a important indicator which show or which varies in color at different acidic or basic strength. Okay, so and these, it is known as your universal indicator. So let's see what is a universal indicator. Before this, one thing I will discuss. So before universal indicator, Actually, why the methyl orange or phenolphthalein or turmeric or litmus paper turns or change their color? Because there is change in hydrogen ion. Okay, so this we use to get or the on the basis of presence of hydrogen and concentration, we use to find out the acidity or basicity. Okay, and for this we use a scale that is known as pH scale. What it do? It measures the hydrogen ion concentration in the solution. Okay. Now on the basis of this, there is a universal indicator. What is this universal indicator? It is a combination of several indicators. Several indicators which changes its color, changes its color varying the pH on varying pH of solution. Okay, so we have to, it is your pH paper like this. On this pH it will be blue or something is this color is, there is a colored shade, different color shades will be there. We make it by using several indicators as there whatever the pH will be there at the, if it is matching with this, it will be here and its color in this form. So it is your universal indicator, the pH paper we use on the same basis. Now one more thing about the pH scale is that what is this scale or how it is graduated actually. If it is your scale, okay, and here it is hydrogen ion concentration, so it is like this. Here the hydrogen concentration is so much, means here it is so much acidic, and slowly it will be reduced and finally it means that here it is your OH concentration getting more. It is acidic, it is neutral, and it is basic. And from there it start from 0, then 7, and then 14. If the pH of anything is less than 7, then it is acidic. As less as the pH means as much as it is acidic, and as the pH increases from 7, then it is going to be more basic in nature. So it was about how we use the pH scale, and we find that what is the importance of pH in either we say the biology, chemistry and physics. There is so much importance. At first we'll start with our body. Our body works basically at it is the optimum pH for our body is 7 to 7.8. Importance of pH I am discussing here. Importance of pH first in our body, which work very frequently in 7 to 7.8 pH. It is very optimum pH. Okay, but if due to acid rain, so you can, one more thing, so you see that for the living organism, it was just example for our body, but for the living organism, the pH range in which they work is very narrow. So they work very frequently in very narrow range. If there is a large change in pH, then their work efficiency will affect it, even they die. So in case of the acid rain where the pH is 5.6 means it is highly acidic for a living organism. Because of this, the plants, small or sensitive plants, and even the aquatic animal may die. It may lead to their death. Now, one thing I will tell you, these are some facts which we should know. Venus. Here the clouds is made up of H2SO4. H2SO4, it is acid. Okay, this cloud is white and yellowish in nature or in color. So can you imagine that there will be any life? As they are highly sensitive, we can die in this much pH. Then what about this? H2SO4 is very strong acid. So there is no life because of this acidic nature. Then the second thing, digestive system. Digestive system. In our stomach, there is a oxyntic cell. Oxyntic cell. These cells release HCl. The pH of this acid is approximately 2.5 to 3.5. You can imagine how acidic the pH in our stomach. This highly acidic medium help to digest the protein, help to kill the bacteria. Whatever the food we eat, sometimes we eat the raw vegetables in form of salad, they are containing so much of bacteria. These bacteria needs to be killed, otherwise it will create so much problem or it will leads to diarrhea, typhoid, etc. So there is a precautionary in our body that these HCl kill all the bacteria, as their pH is so much high and the bacteria can't survive in this pH. So these bacteria are killed by them. At the same time, the digestion of protein leads to just because of this pH. In case we are our empty stomach, but our time clock is fixed that at this time we used to take lunch or dinner, but our stomach empty in this time, then what happened, as the biological clock, HCl release at particular time and our stomach is empty, then it will work on our cells also, and due to this it may cause the burning of that cell. Okay. So there is a protective measure in our stomach. There is a mucus layer that is this acid, so that our stomach wall remains safe. But if we are doing it on daily basis, being the empty stomach for long time, it may cause ulcers in our stomach also. So it is very important to not create the situation like this. And sometime, one more thing, sometime we take so much of a spicy food, and to help their digestion or their composition so much, the acidity of our stomach increase so much. Then this creates so much uneasiness. To avoid this or to get relief, we use some antacids. So what is this antacids? For example, milk of magnesia, MgOH12. It is a mild base which help to get relief in this situation. So we see that digestive system acid release help in protein digestion, and at the same time kill bacteria. So how important this acidic medium is. Now let's discuss one more importance. In a tooth, there is a hardest material of our body, that is hardest material. In our tooth, the hardest material is made up of enamel, which is calcium hydroxide. It is nothing, it is a crystals of the calcium phosphate. calcium phosphate. It is a phosphate. It is crystalline in nature. This is hardest material and doesn't corrode, but it may corrode due to the acid. So acid corrosion can be here. When there is bacteria working or bacteria present in our tooth, bacteria in our teeth may create the acidic medium, they corrode it enamel, and finally it form the cavities in our teeth. So the tooth decay is just depends upon the pH of our tooth. Okay, the whole buccal cavity. And at last, there are some self-defense mechanism in plant and animals. Sometimes you have seen that honeybee, when we are bitten by that honeybee sting, what happened? There is some acid release and it creates so much pain. And in same way, when there is ant which release the formic acid when it is eaten, or when any ant bite us, what happened? It again cause so much of irritation. So there is a first aid we use, that some basic, for example bicarbonate we use, so that its effect reduced down. In some plant there are nettles which also when we are just hard by them, then there is also irritation because of this acidic nature. They produce some acids. We can use some base to reduce its effect. It was all about some basics in your book which help to study in class 8, 9, 10. So I doesn't peculiar with the particular class. So I hope it will help you to understand about the acid and base. Further we'll discuss about the common salt. Thank you very much.